Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the chat. We are back with the one, the only, the fabulous, the amazing Buddy from the
wow, thank you.
YouTube
Wow,
channel. It's great to have you back, man. Ever since we did our last one, I'm like, I need to get this man on again. This was so much fun the last time we did this. So today we're gonna have some fun here. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania comes out tomorrow. I should have seen it in about 24 hours from now. And we're starting into Phase 5. Which, Buddy, can you believe we're in Phase 5?
I can't believe it. I feel like listen. Online reception of Phase 4 may make it seem like it was a lot in a short period of time, but for me, it was like it went by like that. I feel like Phase 4 just I can't believe a whole phase has gone by. Like I'm still in like post endgame mode.
Sure.
Like, out of the theater. I can't believe how fast it was. So
it's been like 2 years.
Yeah. So like going into like Phase 5 tomorrow, like I don't know how much we're gonna talk about our hype for Quantumania or not. I am not excited at all for it. And I love Jonathan Majors. I think he's gonna be great as Kang. I almost can like guarantee he's gonna be the standout. But I have like no excitement for Phase 5 to start. I'm excited for future projects, but yeah, in the big picture, Phase 4 went by so fast. I just can't believe it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It feels like, yeah, it's weird because it's the longest phase. Like it's the largest phase.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, again, there's so many projects in Phase 4 that I forgot 3 while preparing for this entire thing.
Right.
And there's so much. And I feel like it's the most divisive phase. I still really loved Phase 4. I was still a big fan, despite its issues and despite me not loving every project. I still enjoyed most of it. So just like in general, like just your in general thoughts on Phase 4 before we really jump in here.
Phase 4 is definitely where I started to get Marvel MCU fatigue. I say that word, not superhero movie fatigue, MCU fatigue in general. I found myself this phase not liking more than I liked a lot of the times. Now, as we go down our list and our rankings, I have plenty of positive things to say. I really do. But as an overall look, I am starting to fall off the MCU hype train a bit. Just spilt my drink everywhere. That's how much my opinions mean right now to me. Wow. But I'm more excited for like the new DCU of James Gunn. Like that has me so excited. Let me show you something real quick. I actually got so excited that I'm reading Grant Morrison's run of Batman now because I am so excited for that future of DC that I bought this. And so far, it's very good.
I was
really excited.
A bunch of those comics. Just I know it's not DCU related, but I went to the comic book store and they were all sold out. Everything that he like recommended was gone, and I love that. Like that's so amazing.
Like that to me is so awesome. So I'm ready for the new take. But Phase 4 though still did a lot of unique things. I think we got a lot of very unique projects out of Phase 4. That when you see the highs of Phase 4, it's the best out of the MCU.
Sure.
But when you see the lows, it is the worst of it.
Sure.
And I feel like there's almost no comparison in my mind that I would rather watch Thor 2, Thor the Dark World, over a lot of these projects. If we're on like a rainy day or something. I guess that's my opinion on Phase 4. I guess.
Alrighty, so I say we just jump in here. So for those, we did this a couple weeks back, but it didn't really work out too well. Here I have my hat. I have a hat of a whole bunch of the Phase 4 projects. 17 of them. In fact, I'll try not to keep you here all day, buddy. I know there's a lot here. There's a lot here for sure. So we'll both talk about our projects at the same time. We'll rank them together so we don't overdo any of the projects. So I'm ready if you are, buddy.
I am ready.
Alrighty. Our first one I have here is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What do you think of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Would you like to go first, or should I go first?
I say you're our guest, so you can go first.
Okay, I have Falcon and the Winter Soldier at number 7. Number 7 on my list. I actually really enjoy the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. When I look back on the Disney Plus shows, I'm like, fuck yeah. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, are you kidding? That was badass. Like, I loved the Winter Soldier movie. I thought that was great. I feel like that was the peak direction of Joe and Anthony Russo in the MCU. I think that was their film. Yeah. Like, that was brilliant. But Falcon and the Winter Soldier was just the one I like the most. I love John Walker. I thought that was so cool. I have some negative opinions that I don't like how in the finale he's retroactively a good guy. Like, no, he's a fucking terrorist. He bashed somebody with that shield, and that was the most iconic shot of Phase 4 for me, next to like No Way Home and a couple other little things. That shot of that bloody shield was so raw. Like, that was just raw, you know, and I loved all of that. I feel like the part that sucked was the flag smashers. I feel like with the pandemic and everything going on, if you look at the Disney Plus stuff behind the show, they really had to fix the show in the edit, and they did the best they could. And what we got was still pretty impressive. I feel like the character work for Sam was great. I love Bucky. I felt like this whole relationship was wonderful. And now going into Captain America 4, I could not be more excited for a new Captain America movie. Sure. Something that may be an unpopular opinion is I didn't like Civil War. I feel like Civil War was really weak, actually. And I feel like a lot of the balance between Tony and Cap actually didn't work under a Captain America film. It deserved to be bigger than that. And I feel like maybe the focus was off in a lot of places. This Captain America 4 movie sounds so much cooler than anything I've seen around the Captain America stuff for a while. And we had to have Falcon and the Winter Soldier to get there. So number 7.
yeah, absolutely. I agree. I have mine very close. I have mine at number 8.
Oh, wow. Look at
so
that.
Yeah, we're very close. And again, this was probably my most anticipated out of all those announced shows. I thought, I love the Captain America world. Like, I loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I love the first, like, the Captain America First Avenger. I love Soldier. I love Civil War. I love like that kind of secret agent, undercover spy type thing. And again, like I think New World Order is my most anticipated MCU film at the moment. I love that. And again, I love Sam and Bucky. I think those are like that's the best like relationship currently inside the MCU. I think they're perfect. And again, I think it is just until it is the Flag Smashers. I think that's it for me. That's all I really have a real issue with. Is just the villain, and it sucks because I think Captain America movies have fantastic villains. Like,
agreed.
I don't think, like
Zemo slapped. I'm sorry, Zemo was the best part of Civil War, and that I'll be honest about that. He was awesome. Love Zemo. And then we got Zemo dancing in this one, so at least we had that.
We did, yeah. I think they do a really fun job with the MCU with just like bringing back stuff that didn't necessarily work. Where like Zemo, I loved him in Civil War, but I never felt like we got enough of him. We didn't get too much. Yep. And it was nice kind of bringing that full circle. We set up a lot of stuff for the future, but it did feel very like contained. What I loved about the show, and I won't talk too long, but I love how this show made it like showed the consequences of a superhero, where like it shows that like they don't pay the superhero, like you don't like the consequences of the snap and what doing a hero like can do. I think that's a lot of fun. Like he just wanted to get like buy his boat or whatever, and he couldn't like get a loan. And I thought that was a lot of fun. And I just had a great time with it.
I agree.
Yeah. Alrighty, up next, I have Thor: Love and Thunder. Let's do it. Thor: Love and Thunder.
Is it my turn? Are we doing
it
again?
Yeah. I'll just have you go first, and then I'll go. Thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder?
I have it second to the very bottom. This was a very different choice to flip between these two. It was between this and another project, but I think Thor: Love and Thunder. We're far into the stream, right? I've already cussed, right? It fucking sucked. I hated it. This was the first time I watched an MCU film and was like, I want to leave. I want to go home because I hated it so much. I thought Ragnarok was cool. I thought Ragnarok was dope. I think Taika Waititi is a fantastic filmmaker. This felt like he was flipping everyone off by making this film. And this is just my personal opinion. It just felt like he was attacking Disney, felt like he was attacking the MCU as a whole, and he was attacking me for watching it. And it felt like it's just an extended SNL sketch to me. There were moments that I found really cool. Like we had Thor's best outfit in the entire MCU, and then he put on the most over-complicated piece of trash and the helmet and the... Listen, I have a 30-plus minute video on my channel that I could go all day talking about Thor: Love and Thunder. I just felt like there were two movies that were conflicting with one another. There was an imbalance of tone, and I feel like Christian Bale's Gore was wasted. I feel like there was so much potential there that I wanted more. I wanted more out of Gore. I wanted more out of Thor, because he had gone on such a beautiful journey in the MCU, and I feel like this film actually set up a really cool dynamic for him, but it fell completely flat for me. I feel like Taika's heart wasn't in it, and I felt that. I think that's the most I'm going to go with Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah. I enjoy Love and Thunder more than some other projects on here, but I do think it's the worst. I think it's the worst of Phase 4. And I think it's all like in theory. I like the story here. Like I think Gore in here should have been epic. I think Jane coming back and this battle between the hammers was really cool, and I like things in this movie. I just don't think that they were like. It's like this. It was there, and then they just they didn't do it right. You know, they had all the ingredients to make a good pie. They just didn't make it right, and it is the humor for me. I think like I like his humor. Like I loved it in Thor. I love Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit's fantastic.
Jojo Rabbit is great. It's so good.
It does feel like they just said it in the comments that like it feels like no one told him no. Like that's really what it felt like. No one told him, hey, this isn't funny, or this doesn't work. And it's like I think like some work. I think it's almost like some of the jokes work here, but it's like one after another after another after another. It's like nonstop.
Just never stop.
And it's so weird. I love the Guardians here. I'm so pissed at what they did with the Lady Shiv.
That was to
the point I thought they killed her at first. The first time I watched it, I thought they killed her, and I was pissed. Like,
same here.
It's not amazing. I do like that third act quite a bit, though. I'll be honest. I like that final. Sure. I like in theory, I like what they did with Jane, and I like her kind of stand up. And I respect them for, like, spoilers, obviously, killing Jane. Like I think that's a very bold move. Because, you know, like, I feel like the expectations going in is like, oh, she's going to take over for Thor, and it's gone. Like, that's kind of been the, like, trajectory of this whole thing. So I really do respect that.
100%. I think one final thought about, listen, I could go all day and talk about this. People in my personal life don't bring up Thor: Love and Thunder because, listen, there are two comic book superhero movies that I can't fucking stand. Thor: Love and Thunder and Justice League. Those are the two. I cannot do it. There's so many things about those two films. I just can't do it. I just can't. But the worst joke I feel like in Thor: Love and Thunder is Infinity Stones, because that's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. That is the most horrible joke I've ever seen, because half of life died. Okay, they were gone, and you're making a Ben and Jerry's joke about it. Like that's just too much for me. The 5 season 7 or Thor: Love and Thunder, it's season 7 all day. Okay, Godspeed, the King of Speed, the Force is Irish time sickness. I'm in 100%.
The MCU does a weird thing with like people loving the villains, because you got that, and you also have like in Miss Marvel, people are just like cosplaying as Loki, and it's like that's weird, right? Like it's like you cosplaying as like Hitler. Like it's weird.
Yeah, it's like CC Jitters having the Zoom drink, you know? It's like, he killed a bunch of cops in this coffee shop. You know that, right? Like, he just killed them all. Snapped their necks. Like, people had to clean that up, and we're making a drink after him. Yeah, I totally get what you mean.
Absolutely.
It just bothers me.
Alrighty.
I'm kind of glad we got the one that triggered me the most out of the way. Because, like, the rest of them, that's fine. Yeah, the rest of them are fine.
Alrighty, up next, I have the one that seems like that triggers the internet the most. I'm kind of glad we're getting this one out of the way too. She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. On a different day, I could see She-Hulk being higher up on my list. But right now, it's sitting at number 9. It is sitting at number 9, basically on the halfway mark. Almost, basically. Kind of, sort of. It is good. I think Tatiana Maslany is fantastic. I absolutely love She-Hulk. Beautiful show. Funny. And sometimes it's not funny. Sometimes the jokes do not land.
Sure. And
that's okay. Humor is subjective. But I found the humor a lot more tasteful in this than in Thor: Love and Thunder. I did not feel, as a man, I did not feel like it was a giant slap in the face to me. I don't really understand that idea at all. I think it's a little toxic masculinity is shining through with some of the responses online. And it's like, guys, the show does not hate men. It doesn't. It's actually a really fun show that's really cool and actually has a lot of really cool ideas. Let me tell you what's not good about She-Hulk. The lampshading for the MCU. That final episode when she pops out of Disney Plus, goes and finds Kevin. That conversation with Kevin is the coolest thing the MCU has ever done, but it's also probably one of the worst things it's ever done.
Yes.
For me, lampshading the visual effects team and everything that's going on there, especially with the scandals and everything about them being overworked, underpaid, and the fact that they are working on movies till the fucking day of. That bothers me. That really hits me at my core, and I hate it. Sometimes it makes me feel bad for critiquing the visual effects because it's not the visual effects artist's fault. I want to make sure that's crystal clear. But the lampshading of the plot being stupid, I don't like that. I was actually enjoying it if they were just going to do the Reddit dudes being the villains. I don't care. As long as you commit to it, I'm down. This last second change, I didn't like. The lampshading on the MCU's problems and the bigger problems as a whole when it comes to employment and workers and unionizing, all that stuff, that's what really bothered me about the show, which is why it can't be higher. But if we're talking face value, Daredevil was back, seeing Matt Murdock, having Tatiana Maslany, Bruce Banner, all that great character stuff, really cool, man. Like some of the best stuff. I just loved it. I was obsessed with She-Hulk week to week, every single week. I watched the episode multiple times before I did my reviews because I just really enjoyed it. It was the first MCU show that felt like an actual show. And I enjoyed that. But I can't ignore the problems of that finale.
Sure. I also think you're absolutely right about that. Another thing, I also think it's quite damaging to the fan base because I'm still seeing people are like, oh, is Kevin going to take down Kang? Is She-Hulk going to pop through? This is stuff that we never would have talked about in like Daredevil, right? Or not Deadpool. My goodness, like wall breaking has been a thing for a while. I don't know why now we're just like, oh, it's gonna solve all the plot's issues, which I find that kind of weird. But no, I absolutely love the show. Mine was number 11, so pretty close. I thought the show was just a lot of fun. I just had a good time with the show week to week. There's a couple episodes there I wasn't a fan of. Some of the stuff wasn't as funny as I wish it would have been. I guess my biggest criticisms is just I wish there was more law in She-Hulk Attorney at Law, right? I wish that she was a lawyer more. I do wish they would have tapped into that side of the character. And again, this is another one where I'm like, you could have used more episodes too. Like sometimes I wish it was like a regular show. You could have totally had 13 episodes to flesh out the story more filler. Because I think filler in the show was a lot of fun. I like that. I like just the everyday. And I think in concept, just like a lawyer for superheroes and like powered people is so much fun. That's such a fun concept. There's so much like we could have done there. And I do wish, I hope it's one of them that gets a season 2. I've heard, I heard that's one that might not get a season 2. And that kind of, I don't know, that kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. I'll be curious to see. And again, like I'll talk about this again. Like I want like real MCU shows again. Like I want shows that are shows and not just 6-episode events and special things. I think there's some places for that. Like Secret Invasion coming up, perfect 6-episode event. That makes perfect sense. But we'll talk about that more.
Daredevil, like being to be more episodic, has me excited. By the way, just for the record. But is it true that you and I all did you recently watched Better Call Saul as well, right? Like,
I did. Yes.
We did that.
Yes.
Now, the loitering compared to the two shows is uncanny. There's no competition here because I just binged Better Call Saul this last couple months, and I think you're in the same boat with that. And it's like it's no comparison. Can we get some of those writers? Can we get Vince Gilligan somewhere in here just to do something, please, for Daredevil?
That's why I'm really excited for the Daredevil show though, because I hear that there's Better Call Saul writers over there. There's Stranger Things writers over there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Arrow, some Arrow writers, but Arrow, when it was good, it was good. So I hope that show is really good.
I hope so. I have to acknowledge Lance's comment real quick. Lance, buddy, I love you. Okay, I really do. I love the support. I'm not coming back. I am too busy. Okay, too busy. But the next time I'm up where you live, I don't know if you're cool with me saying that, I will reach out to you, okay? As soon as I'm up there, I got you, Lance, okay? But I'm not making more videos, okay? I'll be on your live stream sometime if I can, but that's where I'm at now. Sorry, I had to at least.
You're happy. That's all I say.
So much happier. So much happier.
Alrighty, up next, I have Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Okay. I have this one at 12. I just want to say I love Sam Raimi. I think he's an absolute genius, brilliant filmmaker. He's fantastic. The arc that he gave Stephen Strange is so good on paper. Did not work very well in this film. I feel like it's bloated. I feel like there was a lot of fan expectations for this thing that just ruined it. And I did a huge breakdown on my channel back when that trailer came out. I was like talking about Deadpool and shit, people being in it. That didn't bother me. That was not my issue. The Illuminati coming in and getting killed, not my issue. That was actually pretty badass. Okay. My favorite cameo was Black Bolt for sure. I thought he was awesome. I could not believe they brought that actor back. I thought that was the coolest cameo of the film. His death was even the coolest part of the film for me. I really like Sam Raimi tapping into his horror roots and really giving us something unique in the MCU. I feel like there were so many unique things, but the script really, really pulled this thing down for me. I feel like Wanda was awesome. I love Doctor Strange. I love America Chavez. I love all of these characters. And Wong, I could go on and on about the characters I like, but the story really struggled. I liked a lot of the ideas. I did not like the execution of a lot of it. Creative filmmaking, love that. Wonky CGI, I can accept that. Whatever. The third act Marvel that we always get and everything, that's fine. Fanfare, cool. The story matters most, and Sam Raimi just can't rescue a script that does not work the best it could. And that's where I'm at. That musical fight, though, yeah, that was cool. That was cool. I will say that was cool.
Yeah, I'm same slot, number 12 for me. Again, I just think it's middle of the road MCU for me. I think I pretty much agree with everything. I think it's a fun superhero movie. I liked it more than the first Doctor Strange. I think it was an improvement on that. I don't care about the cameos. I thought it was fine. That we didn't get a whole bunch of. I would have liked to explore the multiverse just a little bit more, maybe a couple like universe hoppings and stuff like that. Just because I do think if you're called Multiverse of Madness, maybe you do a little bit more with just more than just kind of like 2 Earths or 2.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm right there.
That would have been cool. But in general, like I do think this movie has just generally some of the coolest things in the MCU. Like I think the music fight is amazing. I think Doctor Strange going into the dead Doctor Strange body and traveling through is sick.
Yeah. Yes. That was awesome.
Amazing. The Illuminati, man, it gets joked on a lot, but when they play the X-Men theme, might be the most hyped I've ever been in a Marvel movie. That got me good. It got me good. It was nice seeing Charles again. I love the X-Men crew.
Totally.
And did you watch the Inhuman show at all?
I watched the first episode, which is why it was weird to me that I was so excited to see him again. But I was like, oh my God, what? I just thought that was... I watched the first episode, and that was it. Did you watch it all?
I watched up until the last episode. I had one left. And this is back when I didn't think... I thought everything was good back then. When it first aired, I didn't criticize things at all. And I thought the show was awful. I thought it was terrible. But I do think there's a lot of hype for me, who someone who likes to support these TV shows. That's a huge win. Absolutely huge win. If we can get Inhumans, we can get S.H.I.E.L.D. So,
absolutely.
We can... I liked it. It was a fun movie. Not the best, but I thought it was pretty fun.
I have very conflicting thoughts on it. I will say I kind of want more of the campy tone this film had, along with its horror. I think I need more of that in the MCU because I feel like that was really solid, and I feel like a lot of that has to go to Sam Raimi. I feel like he really. I feel like a lot of the times we hear about Sam Raimi, he's like the actor's director kind of guy, and it's like he knows what's up. And I just think that I want more of him, but I hate to I don't remember the screenwriter's name, but I think he worked on Loki. And I'm just so disappointed with how that... I'm sorry. I'm so disappointed because it's this film had so much potential. And we talked about it has multiverse in the title. You should be doing more with that concept. Sure. I don't know if you've seen this creator, but there's a creator, Grayson's Projects. absolutely love that creator. They have a video called Doctor Strange Multiverse of Mid that I just love. I've watched it like 10 times over because I just love that creator, and I think their video is just so good. So I can't recommend that video enough. I just think it's so good.
Yeah. There's a thing, and I've talked a lot about this on my channel when it comes to like the Disney reboots and the MCU movies. And we're almost at a point where I don't think a director matters that much because I don't think that their work is going to be put to the test. Like I almost feel like you could pick any director, and the project would still come out basically the same or very similar to
Very
what Kevin Feige hires up once.
Yeah,
So,
totally. I totally get that.
Which is why, again, I don't mean like the bandwagon DC, but I'm so excited for everything James Gunn is saying about directing and storytelling, and like right off the bat, we're getting like a horror movie. We're getting a Swamp Thing.
Yes.
We're getting our first project is Creature Commandos. Like it took the MCU 10 years to do something like that with like Moon Knight and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm so excited.
James Gunn has such a great opportunity. He better not fuck it up. Absolutely. It sounds so awesome. DC can finally be back on top where it should be, in my opinion. I'm so excited for DC. So excited. It's crazy to be excited for DC. Even though I was a Snyder fan, even though I am a huge Snyder fan, I'm so excited for DC. I'm so excited for DC again, and it feels great.
All right, up next, I have a big boy. I got Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome. I just got really excited. It is at number 3. Number 3 for me. I love Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm going to get the negatives out of the way first. Guys, go watch that Flash trailer, and you'll understand what I mean if you don't already. I feel like Spider-Man No Way Home suffers because John Watts does not know how to integrate a unique visual style. We just talked about how a lot of these movies feel like they're off committee. They're just workshopping. It's just by the books, check the dots, cross your T's, dot your I's, and there's no director vision. I feel that same way here. I really struggle with John Watts as a director. I don't have anything against him. His short films back in the day were so fucking funny, and there was so much to him that I love. I think he's back for 4, and I hope he has a better sense of this character. After 3 fucking movies, we still can't have Spider-Man swinging without it looking boring. And that bothers me. We have these 2 legendary characters coming in, and not in essence of what they came from beyond the actors themselves is in the film. No score, no artistic style. We're reusing visual effects. I know it was made during the pandemic, but a lot of those problems really start coming through for me. But I just wish there was more of the visual styles, more of the motifs, more of the previous things in there. And I know that's nostalgia bait or whatever, but it just feels we're crossing all these worlds together. Let's actually cross them together. Watch that Flash trailer. I feel like I'm seeing Tim Burton. I feel like I'm seeing Snyder. I feel like I'm seeing Andy Muschietti creating this new world. I'm seeing all of these different things, and they are working. It looks cool. I know there's a problem with, like, I'm not sure if I want to go see that movie because of Ezra Miller and everything they're doing, and they are the Reverse Flash in a lot of ways. But I do hope they get their mental health sorted out. I know we can make jokes, but I hope mental health is very serious. But there's a lot of issues there. But that film is doing what No Way Home should have done with these previous properties. Now let's talk about the positives. Oh my God, it's so cool. It is so cool to have all 3 Spider-Man in one film together. It was really cool to have Andrew Garfield. The standout moment for me is when he saves MJ. As much as I wanted that to be visually different, the way it looked, the moment was beautiful. That is the one and only moment I needed out of this film. I think Andrew Garfield is a much more positive Spider-Man in the eyes of the fandom now, and that's beautiful. I love TASM 1. It's my favorite live-action Spider-Man film. I love TASM 2. I've come around on that film. I think it's actually pretty beautiful in a lot of ways. And I love that the internet is finally seeing what I saw back in 2014. Yeah. And no problem. So it was 2014 or 2012? I think it might have been 2012 and then 2014. I don't know. I love TASM. I love TASM 2. I just wish we would have seen more of Mark Webb's influence, Sam Raimi's influence. And I feel like Tom Holland was actually the best he's ever been in this film as well. I like more of these characters than I ever have before. I found that the way they integrated the villains wasn't bad. I really enjoyed them. It just feels like that maybe there was something a little lost in the heart of it all. Besides the actors. The actors are killing it. No doubt about it. That's not the problem. For me, I feel like it's the lost passion that we just talked about with the lack of vision, the lack of a distinct personality. I feel like that's the way I can sum up my thing of No Way Home. And it's still at number 3, so don't think I hate it. I love that movie.
Yeah. I see a lot of people talking about the whole John Watts thing. I think, if I remember correctly, he was supposed to do Spider-Man 4, then he went over to Fantastic Four, and then he dropped out of that too. So I don't know if what's going on there. But yeah, no, for me, it's also number 3.
Oh, wow.
This was a hard one. Like, the top 3 kind of go back and forth for me.
Mm-hmm.
One day this could be number 1. Next day it could be number 2. I don't know, but like, I love this movie. It gets like dogged on a lot because of the fan service stuff. But I do think it is more than just fan service. I do think the way they do handle each character is done very well. I think the way it adds to like a larger story, and like, you could just have them pop in for an hour, swing around, and then go home, and it would still make so much money. Like, they didn't need to, but I do think they do a lot of fun things here that I do really love. There's that whole like 45 minutes, an hour, where it's just these Spider-Man just back and forth thing. I love that. The whole sequence, like before the battle, and they're cracking each other's necks and doing our backs and doing all these things, is amazing. I love it. I can't help but get hyped for Daredevil in this now whole sequence. I do think it is just like the issues with the MCU as a whole, where it's like the scripts aren't amazing, like the screenwriting isn't amazing, and the comedies in places where I'm like, I wish that was funnier,
Scooby-Doo this shit.
Yeah, there's things in there where I'm like, not my favorite, but I still love it. But I love this movie. It's still one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. I love the ending. I love the like implication of everything. Him have like the ending where he gets the blue suit and he's on his own. He's lost everything, and you have the whole Aunt May thing with great power. I love all that stuff. I loved it. But now I'm even more excited for 4, because I feel like we're at a perfect like opportunity to make the perfect Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man 4, I think, could be easily the best.
I agree 100%. I think the biggest crime of No Way Home is, and I'm not speaking at a great spot here, my hairline is gone. It is. I am balding as the days go on, but they messed up my boy Matt's hairline. Okay, Charlie Cox did not deserve that. That was a fucking crime. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Oh, interesting. Is this confirmed? Is it because of Skeleton?
I do remember that.
Well, I thought he was a part of it. Okay, I just might not be updated. I knew he dropped out of Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay,
I can't confirm that off the top of my head, but that sounds right.
Let's get Sam Raimi back then, or Mark Webb. I'm just kidding. Let's get somebody new.
What would that be? That'd be great.
It'd be so funny. I just don't want to be Taika. I don't want Taika doing Spider-Man. Fuck no.
Oh, all right. Up next, we'll try to zoom through some of these. Yes. I have Loki.
Ooh, number two, Loki. What a gem. I think Loki is this absolute masterpiece. I love everything about Loki. I don't have many problems about Loki. There's just one project that I think is better. I have it at number 2. I think it's just brilliant. I think it's the best 6-episode format that we had. I really just enjoyed Loki. He's a much cooler character, a much more developed character that I've ever cared about him before. Like, I didn't care about him that much before Loki, and I really, really love the character of Loki. I think Tom Hiddleston is brilliant. I love everybody part of the cast. Having Owen Wilson, there's so much about Loki that I just loved, and it also was at the time where it's like, oh, so we all think Kang is going to be at the end of this, right? Or somebody like Kang, and then it was, and then it actually was He Who Remains, Jonathan Majors, and I was like, oh shit. We got one right, because I was a part of the Mephisto train in WandaVision. I was like, this makes so much sense. And then it obviously was Agatha all along. But I think Loki just nailed everything it was trying to do, and that's the one I'm looking forward to for season 2. Like, that is going to be awesome. Right. I have no questions about it. I love the tone. I love the visual aspect of it, because when you watch Loki, it is visually distinct than anything else in the MCU. It is gorgeous. I love all of it. Just the structure of Loki is so good. I could go on and on and on about it. I barely have any problems with it. I really like it. I think if you're going to have one issue, maybe the Lamentis episode wasn't that great. I still struggle. I think filmmakers in general are still struggling to figure out how to actually use the volume. And I think Lamentis was maybe the weakest episode just based off that. But at the same time, the character stuff there, all the brilliant storytelling between the visuals or just the writing, the stories, the characters, I just think Loki is perfect in almost every way.
Yeah, I agree. It's my these are a lot closer than I thought they might be. It's my number one. I think
Wow.
I love the show a lot, and again, for me, it just felt like a show. Like I felt like I
Yeah.
tuned in each week to watch a TV show, and it's this might be the biggest surprise out of the entire MCU for me because I was
Yeah.
not excited when they announced the Loki show. It did just feel like oh, we're bringing back the dead character again, and they brought us something special. I think I loved Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson might be my favorite. Like his Morbius. Morbius
Mobius.
might be my favorite character right now in the MCU.
Morbius.
I love.
If
He
Owen
might.
Wilson Morbius. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry.
He might be. I don't know. I love his whole like jet ski bit. I love
Yeah.
the fun of this whole genre. This time travel genre was so much fun. I think all the actors just absolutely kill it. I don't have a complaint. I thought the first episode, I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling this, and then by episode 2, I'm like, I'm in.
Yep.
Rest of the thing, I loved King at the end. It broke that 6-episode curse that we've been dealing with these shows. Great finale. Big consequences for the MCU. I think, although we haven't seen it yet,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't know. It should be. Yeah, I'm very excited for season 2 this year. I'm very excited to see that. Already up next, I have Shang-Chi.
I have Shang-Chi at number 8. I found this film to be very good. I don't remember the director's name, but the director of this film, I am super excited to see them do an Avengers film. I think that's going to be cool. I think it's going to be great. I don't remember which one they're doing. I think it's Kang Dynasty, but I'm really excited to see how that director handles this because I found this was a great movie. This was probably my first movie. Like I said, I don't remember their name, which makes me feel like an asshole, but they did a great job here. I found Shang-Chi to be really interesting. It was very unique. I really liked the Mandarin. I liked everything that went on there because he's not actually the villain. Not really. It's a story about love. It's a story about family. And for me, that's the thing I love the most. Like, that's just the best thing for me. And I feel like most of this movie really worked. There's a couple things that didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't like Awkwafina's character that much. I didn't really see their chemistry that much. I'm also not having the best opinions on the main actor, especially some things on Twitter and stuff. Like, I just disagree with some things. So it's like, as time's going on, my disdain for stuff outside of the film itself is getting more negative. But this film still remains a goat amongst Phase 4 because I felt like it was so unique, so different, and it was finally a character that wasn't just another IP like that we've had flowing around for the last 10 years. It's a new character with a new world. I really enjoyed it. We had cameos, we had all the basic fanfare, but at the same time, Destin Daniel Cretton, that's the director. Thank you, Second Street Marvel, for that one. I appreciate that. I'm really excited to see the future of this filmmaker. I think they're going to be great. I feel like that's the highlight for me. But this film also had a really unique visual style towards the third act. It may not be your favorite thing, but I enjoyed it. I just feel like the story worked more than it didn't. I think that's my thoughts on Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said. I think I love these parts of Marvel. I like that we can bring characters like Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy and Shang-Chi and even the Eternals to some degree and make them these household names. Like I love that when they do that. And that's what, again, I don't mean to keep going to DC, but I'm very excited to see what James Gunn does with those smaller characters. And I love that. Like, it was just kind of a fun Marvel movie, like a fun origin Marvel movie. We haven't had too many of those in Phase 4. Like I thought we would. Like, I thought Phase 4 was going to be filled with these like origin small stories, but they were more sequels and kind of like stuff that spin-offs and stuff that went from old properties. And I do think that makes it stand out. I think comedy kind of killed a lot of this movie for me. I think that's the biggest one. Where like normally I can handle Marvel comedy, I can blow it off. But there's that scene when they're on the plane and he's telling his entire origin story. Like, this is it. And there you have like a 2-minute bit about people like, do you want peanuts or whatever? Like that. I'm like, no, that's dumb. Like set the stage of your movie. I don't love Awkwafina, but I enjoyed her character. I just, again, the comedy writing wasn't exactly there for me. I loved Wong. I loved like the Abomination set piece. That was fun. I think the fights were beautiful. Some of the best fights in the MCU. I loved it. Best outside of Winter Soldier. And yeah, I love this movie. I think it's fun. It's my number 5.
Oh, I respect that.
Up next we have Hawkeye.
I have Hawkeye at number 11. I found Hawkeye to be super enjoyable. I really liked Haley Steinfeld. I really enjoyed Jeremy Renner. This was the most I've enjoyed Jeremy Renner. Besides this film, not even Age of Ultron. The Jimmy Fallon Age of Ultron, him doing that musical thing where he's talking about shooting arrows in the costume, that YouTube video was the most I ever liked Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, and it wasn't even in the film. So for him to take his own show, and I really enjoyed it. And also, I hope he has a speedy recovery. I know there's a lot of stuff going on there, so I hope everything's fine. And you guys are making sick-ass jokes on Twitter talking about, like, no one I don't care about Hawkeye as a character. I care about Jeremy Renner's health, okay?
Sure.
To me, that's just a little disgusting. And not you guys in particular. I'm talking to the internet. I'm talking to Twitter right now. Some of that stuff's disrespectful. But I enjoyed a lot of this show. I really did. But then they cut every single bit of Clint's story in a show called Hawkeye. And that fucking bothers me. And you cut out everything about Kingpin just because everyone's wanting that fucking 5th to 6th episode villain reveal.
Yeah.
That bothers me. And it just isn't working. The fact that we also had, what's Lalo's actor? I can't remember right now. But he was the sword guy. Seeing him play this role first and then seeing Lalo and Better Call Saul was ridiculous for me. It's so crazy. I really like that actor as well, but I feel like the show fell flat because they erased a lot of the stuff that could have made it better.
Sure.
I just wish there was more. And also, I said this, and I thought this was cool. James Bamford liked and retweeted this. I was like, we need to get James Bamford, the stunt coordinator from Arrow, if you don't know, if anybody doesn't know, to get on Hawkeye, because some of the choreography was dookie booty, like stuff I just did not enjoy. And it's like, we saw 8 seasons of Arrow on the CW give us better shit than this. Get James Bamford in there right now for season 2. But Haley Steinfeld, great. Yelena Belova, great. They didn't even know that Yelena was supposed to be in the show. The writers had no idea she was supposed to be there until last second, and they pulled that story off. And I'm so shocked by that. Good job, guys. Haley Steinfeld's great, yes. Definitely the highlight of the show. But I think, once again, we're running into the stories are just not as coherent as they should be. We're making weird choices here. And I just feel like there was a really great story here, and it got lost along the way. That's my opinions on Hawkeye.
Yes, I'll be honest. I had such a fun time with the show. Mm-hmm. I really loved the show almost start to finish. There was an episode I didn't like. Although I agree, this show, as much as I enjoyed it, it could have been so much better. I think that's just my main issue. Honestly, That might be my thing for almost most of these projects. Where I'm I like that, but it should be better. Those the deleted scenes when with baby Clint, that why would you cut that? You finally, after 12 years or whatever, he finally gets his own project, and it should have been better. But Haley Steinfeld, loved her. I thought she was amazing. It bugs me that Kingpin's return was revealed on a phone, just a video where you have to is that him? Is that him?
Stop with all that. It's so dumb. You can have a character, just be a character. There doesn't have to be a reveal. Come on. Yeah,
I don't understand. Honestly, he should have just been there from episode 2.
Agreed.
I don't understand why. And we would have liked it more.
100%.
I can't think of anyone who's no, let's wait till the last 2 episodes. Why? What was the point?
What's the point?
Weird.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say to this. Is that the shows that we have got with the smaller budgets on network television have been, in my opinion, 10 times better.
Agreed.
So 100%. When you have 10 times the budget and the big actors, they should be amazing.
Disney should be put on the highest standard possible.
Oh yeah.
They should be pumping out quality shit. If it's not better than something on the CW, there's a problem.
Sure.
There is a problem. The CW is so limited and was limited for so long, and it had some of the greatest peak comic book stuff ever. There's a problem if Disney can't do that.
Sure. Absolutely. It's still crazy that Daredevil is still the best. You can argue Daredevil's the best in the MCU or in Marvel, the Marvel space. All right, we're heading towards the end, so I am going to try and zoom through the last couple of these because I know you can only be.
I know
here
I need
for-
to talk faster.
Yeah.
I just
So
I-
we'll play some hot rounds. We'll try to get through these. Up next we have Werewolf by Night.
I have this one at number 4. I think it's great. It's a great hour. Disney, baby girl, Kevin Feige. Look at me. More special presentations. Please, God, more special presentations. This shit slapped so fucking hard. It was so cool. It was an hour long, and I can't wait to see more. That's all I need to know. Great story, great characters, an hour long. Boom.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with this, which is why they shouldn't be movies. They should be shows.
They should be written what they're supposed to be. A film should be written like a film. A TV show should be written like a TV show.
Yeah, half of Phase 4 could have been movies.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. Loved it. Also my number 4 spot. I thought it was amazing.
That's crazy.
We haven't got there yet, but they've been 2 for 2 for these like special presentations. I loved it.
Yep.
Up next, I have What If.
Number 17, the worst project out of Phase 4. And that's probably my hottest take because Love and Thunder sucks so bad. But I hate What If. And I'll tell you why. Star Wars Visions is why. Star Wars Visions was fucking awesome. Getting all these different anime studios together and letting them just have fun with the world of Star Wars is exactly what If should have been. I grew up, I didn't read a lot of comics. I read some, and some of them were What If comics, and they were so much cooler than what this show gave us. I feel like this was so toned down and just not what it should have been. The art style, the visual, like animation, I just didn't like. That's a pet peeve. Not a pet peeve. It's a nitpick. It's just like I just don't like the way the show looked. And a lot of people find it, have no problems with it. That's cool. For me, like Star Wars Visions, every art style could have been different, unique. Sure. Animation could have been different. All that. I feel like there's so much potential with the show. Completely fell flat for me. The king, though, however, was the Doctor Strange episode. Damn, what a great episode.
Yeah, it's hard for me to talk about What If because each episode would be like a different spot, right? Like I loved some would be top tier Phase 4, some would be low tier Phase 4. I really like this show. I think mine, let me just check real quick. Mine was 13. I still enjoyed the show a good bit. Like I had a good time with it. I like What If stories. I like Elseworld stories. And maybe it's just because I like that we were kind of able to escape the main continuity. That's my biggest thing with Marvel is as much as I love that main timeline, I would like to see other stuff too. I would like to explore different stuff and different genres.
Of course.
But again, it's the same thing we've talked about before where it's like, it's good, but it could be better. Could be more. Should be better. For sure. Alrighty, up next we have Black Widow.
Black Widow, I have it number 14. I think it's okay. I actually enjoyed this film a lot when I walked out of the theater. I thought there were some cool creative choices. But the film, let's just be honest, should have come out 10 years ago. I know there's behind the scenes stuff when it comes to previous leadership at Disney and at Marvel, whatever. The movie should have came out 10 years ago. Scarlett Johansson, everything that went down there with the pandemic and the money, that all that was messy. Film kept getting delayed, the premium prices, so much was going against this film. But I'll be honest, it's a girl boss film, and I like girl bossing, and some of that shit's badass. Okay, we also got Yelena Belova, fantastic. I literally have her on my wall. Obviously, it's a different film, but I absolutely love. I just feel like this film had so much going against it, and it took too long to get here that it's like it can't be amazing. Like it had no chance. Stuff with Taskmaster, the villain, like there's just stuff that just didn't work. Once again, the script, it could have been so much better. Everything could have been so much better if it was released 10 years ago. And that's just the problem of filmmaking and women leads. That's not anything against this film. That's just the film industry. So while it had cool stuff in it, while it had cool visuals, had some of the worst CGI of Marvel, but at the end of the day, it's fine. I have no other opinions than that.
Yeah, I wanted to love this movie, and I don't know if it's because it was the first kind of movie of Phase 4. It was like a year, like almost a year and a half without anything. It didn't help. It's a prequel. ends after everything. I didn't think the villains was amazing. I'm also a huge fan of Taskmaster.
Yeah.
I love that character. And I already know there's some people complaining she's a woman. I don't care. I don't care that she's a woman. You do just take everything cool about Taskmaster and kind of throw it out the window. I think making her like a robot was dumb.
That was
making it all like techno based is dumb. I wanted more. I just wanted more out of that movie. Although Yelena, one of my favorites of Phase 4, loved her. I thought she was amazing. So much fun. I didn't like David Harbour's character. I know a lot of people really did.
Right.
I found him so annoying. I couldn't stand him. But I thought it's fine. It's a fine movie. It should have been at least Phase 2.
Yeah.
Latest
agreed.
Phase 3 at the latest.
Lawrence Pugh can only do so much.
Yeah, I still think it should have been that like Budapest story. I don't see why not.
Why wasn't it?
Why
was it not?
Yeah, it could have been set like after Age of Ultron. Would have been perfect.
Yeah. Ugh. Missed opportunity.
Absolutely. Alrighty, up next I have Moon Knight.
Moon Knight I have right at number 10. I felt like there was so much potential. I almost feel like this is the one that hurts the most because Oscar fucking Isaac, Ethan Hawke. Oh my God. There was so much potential here, and they gave their A game every single week. But damn, it just did not pay off. There was so much from the Jeff Lemire run that was just destroyed in this. There was a lot of potential for psychological intrigue. There was more to that tone we could have had. Making Moon Knight just completely connected to the Egyptian stuff more than we've ever seen before just didn't work for me. I'm not the biggest Moon Knight comic fan, but this adaptation just didn't work as well for me. I would have preferred a more practical Moon Knight costume. I don't like how we're getting the shit just pops in and out nowadays. That stuff just really didn't work for me. And you could say some of that's nitpicking, but at the same time, some of the storytelling fell off for me. Towards the tail end, it just started to get bigger and bigger and bigger when it should have been getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And not everything needs to end with a giant fucking kaiju battle. Like the gods were just seen by everybody, or they weren't because of the different, like their rules contradicted each other. Like in the writing, like only the people who were chosen could see gods, but then 2 seconds later that wasn't the case, but then it was the case. And it was like there's a bunch of twistings, and then there was that whole shit with the moon that actually didn't mean anything. And it's like I felt like so many ideas were out there. There was so much potential here. The performances were on point every single week, but it's almost like they didn't care enough to make something so cohesive. They wanted just all of it in one and go, but also being the big gigantic MCU on a Disney Plus show. So a lot of it didn't work for me that way. But episode 5, episode 1 were peak. That scene where we see Stephen Grant sitting alone at that dinner, that is amazing. That is what Moon Knight should have been more of. That tone. Rewatch that first episode, you guys, if you haven't in a long time. That should have been the tone the entire episode. The entire show. I have so many mixed opinions on it because I feel like it could have been peak and it wasn't. That's my opinion on Moon Knight.
Yeah, it's my 15. I did not.
Wow.
It's one of those projects. Every time I'll come across a project where it's like I didn't like this, and I can't even tell you why. I was bored the entire time, and I think I blame this on fans because I thought I was getting a different show. I've never read a Moon Knight comic. And the one thing I kept hearing, they're like, it's Marvel's Batman. It was not Marvel's Batman by any means. And that's a good thing. Like, I'm not saying it needs to be. But I'm saying I never understood, like, how was that? I don't know. I never got that. I think it could have been really cool. It could have been a really fun, interesting show. And it wasn't for me. That's all I have. I'm not going to go on and talk about how I didn't like it. I just thought I didn't enjoy it that much.
I feel like I have one little mic drop because I think somebody mentioned it in the chat, but it's so true. Your show sucks if you cut away from the final fight, that climax, the cathartic arc. What the fuck? That was stupid. That was the stupidest fucking thing I've seen in a long time. That was so dumb. That ruined it for me. I think that was the time because like I try to let my opinions settle after the show is done. Like I give my reviews and stuff, but like I want a more well-rounded opinion. I was just like, nah. Okay, that was dumb. Okay.
Yeah.
Had to mention that.
Yeah, no. I hope season 2 can fix a lot of these things out because apparently it's happening maybe. Although I will say Oscar Isaac, amazing. phenomenal.
Yep.
He did great.
I'm with you.
What up, Flash Freak? Alrighty,
What's up?
we'll try and zoom through. We got like a couple more here. We'll
I
try
know.
and do these real quick.
I just can't help it.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special.
I have this at number 5. I think it's great. I think James Gunn did a great job. Once again, Kevin Feige, baby girl, more special presentations. More of them. Just give me more. It's great. They keep working. Give me more. Okay, I want more. This is what I want more of. I thought it was great. It was a lot more low key. It was a lot more low key, but it was very contained. It was very personable, very personal, very human. I loved it. It was so much fun. You still had the fanfare. You still had all the shit you get from the MCU, but it's the Guardians, and the Guardians are amazing. They're great characters. I loved everything about this. I thought this was so beautiful, and it wasn't even an hour. It was like 40 minutes, and it was just amazing. No complaints.
Yeah, no, it's my number 6, I think. I just had a lot of fun. I'm a sucker for Christmas. Maybe this is why I loved Hawkeye so much. I love superheroes and Christmas. I love it. Love Spider-Verse. Loved Shazam. And again, it's just Guardians having fun. And I don't think we get a lot of that in the MCU, right? One thing I love about the Arrowverse is we can just have episodes where they're just getting ready for Christmas. They're just chilling out and going to barbecues and stuff like that. Like, I love that stuff. And we don't normally get to do that in the MCU because it's always so fast-paced. There's always a monster to kill or whatever. And it's just Drax and Mantis going to get stealing a person. And, it's just a fun little story. And I do think it is the perfect set. I had to remember, wait, what were they doing? Oh yeah, they kidnapped somebody. But no, I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm just really excited to kind of see where Guardians 3 wraps everything up. I do think it was a good segue between the two. I thought it was a nice last little bite, and then 3, and then I'm done. And I think we'll do something really fun for the ending. Next up, I have Eternals.
I have Eternals at number 13. I actually don't have many negative opinions on this. I found it to be cool. I actually really enjoyed Eternals. What I didn't like about Eternals was my theater experience. Guys, when you go to the theater with a bunch of your friends, I get it. Okay, I get it. I yell. Listen, I understand. In Endgame, I was like a little baby, man. I cried. People heard me cry. I yelled. Okay, when Captain America had Mjolnir, shit got everybody gassed up. Okay, don't lie.
Yeah,
that shit got you fired up. Shut the fuck up when the movie is on, because I missed the first 10 to 15 minutes because these motherfuckers would not shut up. I had to yell at them to shut up. That's when you know the theater experience is bad. I'm that guy. I will be that guy tomorrow at Ant-Man if people don't shut up. Besides that, I thought Eternals was actually kind of cool. I like the grand scope. It reminds me of a bit more of a I like the mythological stuff. I like all the stuff with just the mythology of everything. I thought it was really cool. I thought a lot of the legacy stuff was interesting. The non-linear storytelling was fine. I don't think that's necessarily the problem with the film. I just think that there's too much going on. I think too much going on at once, too many characters, and I don't think the script allowed for the ensemble to thrive. I feel like if the Eternals were a bit more of a condensed array of characters, it would have gone better. The villains were lacking completely, and I just feel like a lot of the movie is nonsense at the end of the day. When people walk out of it, it's like, that happened, I guess. But I felt like there was actually a lot of potential there. And I liked a lot of the visual effects. I think it's one of the more interesting films to look at of Phase 4. I've actually watched it more times than a lot of these other projects, which is weird. So while it has its issues, the same issues we've talked about over and over again, I felt like there was something here that wasn't in a lot of other things. And I think it got overhated. That's my opinion. I think it's overhated.
I love that because it's my number 16.
And I understand completely.
Here's the thing. I think I respect this movie a lot. I think it's one of the prettiest MCU movies. I respect it for the MCU doing something different. This is a different MCU movie. I just don't care. I could maybe tell you 2 of those characters' names off the top of my head.
Yep.
It doesn't help. I had just worked an 8-hour shift. I went to the theater. I was just bored. I'm so sorry. I was so bored with this movie.
I get it. I totally get it.
I didn't love this movie. I wish I did. I wanted to. I wanted this to be the next Guardians of the Galaxy. I wanted this to be the hugest franchise. I wanted people to dress up as these characters for Halloween. And maybe that's why I didn't like it as much, because I had such high expectations for it. I thought it was fine. It was good. It's fine. One of my least favorite though.
That's understandable. Totally valid.
All right, we have 3 more here. We'll hurry up real quick. Miss Marvel.
I have Miss Marvel at number 15. I thought it was fine. That's all I have. What is it? Her name's Iman Vellani, right? Yes. I believe is the actor's name. Best part of the show. Can't wait to see her in the Marvels. Great casting, perfect casting. Everything else was so boring. Once we got past like halfway through the show, I was so bored. I was bored. All of the interesting things that made the show visually interesting or more grounded to real world stuff all disappeared, was gone. All the personality was gone. All the artistic choices were gone. And so was I. Boom.
It's number 10 for me. I was thinking about it last night. Trying to figure out what my opinion is on the show. This show's a lot like Supergirl for me, where yeah. I love the characters. These characters were amazing. I loved Miss Marvel. This actress, perfect. I loved even like the setting. Like I loved the editing in episode 1, and I loved how we can like really like relate with this character. I feel so close with this character, but the plot was terrible in my opinion. Yep. I couldn't remember the villains' names. And this
I couldn't tell you.
Example for me, where like this should have been 13 episodes. This should have been a long-winded show. There should have been more here. There should have, and I think like I've heard a lot of people how they really like connected with her going back to her home, like going back to her roots. And a lot of people like, I've never seen that in a superhero show to me, and that's really special. And I respect that a lot. And so when I was thinking about the show, I'm like, I kind of think that's the bits that don't work. But I only think that's because there's not enough. Like we go there and then we have to come back. Like there's like, it feels like it's split up into 3 parts. Like
not fully developed.
That part, and then the end, they have to hurry up and wrap it up. I think if you just add maybe, I don't even say 6. 6 is a lot more episodes, but maybe 5 more episodes, it would have been so much better. And I hope it gets a season 2. I'm very excited to see her in the Marvels this year.
Yes.
I think she'll do amazing. All that jazz. All right, 2 more. 2 more, and then you can get out of here, I promise.
It's all good. We're good.
Up next, we have WandaVision.
WandaVision. I have it number 6. I think WandaVision's awesome. I actually think WandaVision is damn near perfect until episode 9. Episode 9 just completely killed me. I mean, there's a reaction on my channel that's still up. I cried. Okay, I cried in that video. I was with Colby and Spencer, the guys that are on my channel a lot. They're great friends of mine. And we stayed up till 2 a.m. A lot of the times reacting. There's old reactions where we stayed up really late. And that was one of them, was the WandaVision finale. And I was just like, oh, this is great. All the emotional moments, great. The Ship of Theseus stuff, awesome. And then I sat on it for a minute. And I was like, actually, that kind of ruined the show. It was so unique and beautiful in the way it was different and unique. And it was still character driven. I've never liked Wanda or Vision more than in WandaVision. Stuff with Quicksilver, the kids, all that was awesome. The different genres, the different art styles, visual storytelling, all the unique stuff. That's awesome. I want more of that. But I think WandaVision fell off, not because Mephisto wasn't the fucking bad guy. Agatha was great. It's just it turned into a fucking fight with CGI all over the place. Hayward is cool with killing kids. Probably one of the worst villains in Marvel. I hate him. I think his name's Hayward.
I think so, yeah.
I think that's right. But God, it just struggled in that final episode that it can't go higher than it is. But for it being the first project of Phase 4, good start.
Yeah. This project was the hardest for me to rank because this might be the most invested I've ever been in the MCU.
Yep.
That like 6 weeks, 9 weeks I think, something like that, was the funnest. We got
first 2 episodes for doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't know why it doesn't matter.
The online like discourse around the show was so much fun. I had so much fun just like watching people watch it and like discuss it. And again, maybe that's because it was our first project in like almost 2 years. I loved how different and like unique it was. And again, like this is what we've been asking for. Like we've been asking for different genres and doing something different. That's what this was. It was something totally new and different. I haven't sounded great. Episode 9 sucked. It was horrible. I like the Ralph Boner stuff. Like I hate to be that guy, but I hated that. Like I was so excited. I'm a huge X-Men guy. Like I love the X-Men. I love those movies. We brought back Evan Peters. We brought him, like, that was huge. That was amazing. And then there's just like, I got ya. See ya. Like, I hate it. I hate it. I think, like, sympathizing Wanda at the very last episode was dumb. Let her be. Like, we're obviously building her up to be the villain. So let her be the villain.
Yep.
Like, let that happen.
You're preaching. You're preaching
weird.
right now. Keep it going. You're
just
nailing
like,
it.
hey, like, they'll never know what you sacrificed. I'm like, you mean what they sacrificed? They were kidnapped for months.
I'm right there with you.
A weird finale. But besides that, I love it.
My hate for episode 9 brought me back. Matt Shackman. That's the guy who did Doctor Strange in this. Matt, get your shit together. Some of that stuff made me mad. Yeah, the Ralph Boner. Sorry. What was the last thing? Sorry. Feel bad. I think I interrupted you.
Oh, no, you're fine. I also loved our little tech, like, group. Like, I loved Jimmy Woo, and I loved
Darcy,
girl from Thor. I loved, and, like, Monica. I love the little group. Like, they were so much fun. I was like, give them a spinoff, and I'd totally watch it.
Yeah, 100%.
It was a fun show, though.
Yeah.
Lastly, to wrap up this whole thing, very fitting that this is the last one, we have Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever is my number 1. I loved Wakanda Forever. This was the first movie out of... actually, let me rephrase. Out of every project here, this had me the most interested and engaged the entire time, which is crazy. I say that because No Way Home is on this list. Obviously, I was at the edge of my seat. I wore a Spider-Man suit to No Way Home with my best friend, Spencer. We both wore Spider-Man suits, okay? Love it. But Black Panther was so fucking cool. Like, so cool. I loved all of the storytelling. I loved how I just not even talking about Chadwick Boseman. The film is great, but talking about him for a second, it's really difficult to lose your lead and then going into a sequel. That's hard. That's the hardest thing you could ever do. So you have a lot of different versions of how this could have ended up. I respect the choice to not recast T'Challa. I respect that. What I don't like is the killing T'Challa and other things Black Panther. And the new Black Panther, there's 2 Black Panther games, one with Captain America and another one. T'Challa's killed in both of them. There's like a new comic coming out where T'Challa's dead. And it's like, why are you doing that? That's not what... I don't think that's the right way to go. But in the film, I get it. And I actually thought it worked really well. Because obviously, everyone on that production is mourning a friend, right? They're mourning somebody. And Chadwick was so inspiring. And so to see that mourning process on screen and seeing that, that's art to me. That was a love letter to him, to me. That's what I saw when I saw Wakanda Forever. And that is so good on its own, just to think about all the outside stuff.
Sure.
But now talking about the film, it's fucking slapped. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Namor was amazing. One of the most brilliant characters of Phase 4. Absolute standout. Knocked out of the park. And I don't like the main actor who plays... oh my God, why can't I even remember her name? What? Why can't Tisha Wright? But what's Shuri? Shuri struggled for me, I think, a bit. But by the end of the film, I was so in it. I was so into her journey that I was like I was just so engulfed by the story. And I think a lot of people don't like Black Panther Wakanda Forever because there's a little bit of there's like a lot going on as well. I feel like there are some subplots that don't matter, but the overall story of Shuri and Namor was so good that it is my number 1, because I've never been on the edge of my seat, not because Spider-Mans are swinging on screen, because I'm so interested in both of these people who have gone through similar things, learning about all of the terrible things they've experienced together, the mourning process. This beautiful, poetic storyline got me so invested. I thought it was just brilliant. And I think, this might be unpopular opinion, but I think Ryan Coogler made a better film than his first one. I felt like this was really what I wanted out of Black Panther 2, and it exceeded every expectation for me.
Yeah, I loved this movie a lot. I wasn't sure, like, this was a very difficult movie going in, because it's almost like I almost felt bad for getting too overly excited, because I do think that this movie, it is very, it's a hard movie to make. And I feel like there hasn't quite been a movie like it that, like, people had to like. This movie was made as a tribute in a way, and I thought it was beautiful. I absolutely love this film. I thought everyone on screen did a perfect job. Absolutely amazing. You can feel like you like this movie or not. It feels like everyone's giving their 110%. Like there's so much passion put into this project, and it doesn't like this movie. Again, like you heard me talk about these movies. I've enjoyed most of these stuff. This movie was like, oh yeah, this is what I want these projects to be. Like I think it set a higher bar. Right. And I have noticed that I think when the MCU really needs to make a good movie, they make a really good movie. They just like they can do it, and I think that's frustrating. That can be very frustrating to me. But I think
you do it every time.
Right. Like why? Yeah, why are you only putting 10% over here when it's 90% over here for sure? Yeah. But yeah, I loved it. I loved the journey that we go on. I loved Namor. Thought he was amazing. Excited to see more from him. There's some issues. I think the third. I love that third act fight, but I get like the criticism with it. I get maybe it could have looked better or shot better. But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I hope that name's blanking, but I hope she wins that Oscar, because that scene,
Angela Bassett.
Yeah, that scene in the courtroom, maybe one of my favorites in the entire MCU. It's so good.
So good. Just amazing. My last thought, because I really do need to go, but yeah, when you're sitting in a Wingstop at like 12:30 or 1, eating wings, reflecting on the movie you just saw, and it was Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Like, bro, I cried while sitting in fucking Wingstop eating my wings, just because I was so taken back by this film. I was so just taken by it, and I just really appreciate that. I think the movie's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you for coming. Buddy has to go. He has to get out of here.
Yes,
thank you for having me on and talking with us. This was a lot of fun.
So
follow his stuff. Follow his Twitter. All of it linked down below.
Thank you so much,
buddy. It's good to have you.
I gotta go. Have a good one. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.